Heavy is the head that has to manage all of this.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel.
We're now incentivized to buy what we already buy.
Fumbling through college had me building.
I also got some done on the other side.
And that was right around, I would say, May, maybe, right before renewing the lease for this property.
Welcome to the channel, Martha.
Thank you for having me here.
Oh, I was gonna say I am getting up there in age, I'll tell you what.
Bills paid by other people, life was never this good. I had to step back.
One thing about the older generation is that they are absolutely stuck in their ways. And they have every reason to be stuck in their ways. Because the truth is that their ways worked for them in their generation. And I absolutely will be one of those older generation guys who believes that everything should be the same, but it's not going to be the same, right? Like when they were in the workforce, everyone was getting a pension plan, but at the same time, they also had to do different types of labor, very intensive labor, not safe, not secure. And you know, at the end of the day, this raised a lot of health concerns. I was just told the other day that when I was service at Fort Sill back in Oklahoma during my basic training in the Army, that there may have been a lot of cancerous, contaminated environments within that facility. Now, I don't know how true it is. I haven't done any research on it. I haven't been diagnosed with any cancerous substances, but you know, that is alarming that things like that are still happening today. But I really do believe that the biggest difference between how we treat work as millennials versus how the older generation treated work is that essentially you scratch my back, I scratch yours. It still applies, but in a very, very different way. You see, back in the day, people used to have pension plans. It wasn't just for government and city workers. It wasn't just for those who had to fight and defend the country. And so when you stayed at one employer for 10, 20 years, you left with something. You left with dignity. You left with respect. You had parties thrown in your honor. And you had a monthly income to subsidize any cost for you in retirement. It was almost like a big brother, an uncle, a mother, caring for you in your later years, to where you didn't necessarily have to worry about whether or not you had saved enough of your own income and hard-earned money in order to survive. You know, this also allowed you to live a little bit more freer. The money that you had was to be spent, not invested, not saved, because at the end of the day, my job will take care of me. You see, that no longer applies to society today. A lot of businesses realize that retirement is very expensive. And one way to subsidize that is to instead not pay for you forever, but to maybe give you a match on what you contribute to your own retirement. And so maybe we'll give you 3%, 4%, 5% match. But we'll start everyone at 1%. And if you do the due diligence and actually start to invest on your own, you can match up to whatever we have allowed. Some companies are saying even that is too costly. And we will only do this for those who have been with the company for 1 year. Right? So after 1 year, you now have the ability, the privilege to invest for your future with us. You see, it is very, very concerning now in today's society where everyone now essentially offers this non-guaranteed retirement. Amazon has a different form of that where, yes, they do offer your 401k and Roth IRA accounts, but they also offer, what would you call it? They also offer stocks, right? They also offer stocks to their management team and other, you know, levels of associates. And so they have that added incentives to stay outside of the everyday 401k and Roth IRA. You see, now that we are not really being told our life is secure through this employer, people are now not opted in internally to work in one area. We understand that we can roll over this 401k and Roth IRA to a new employer who might match the same, if not more. We also understand that we might not be happy where we are, and someone else is willing to pay more in the now for my services. I might need to maximize my income. I might need to maximize my ability, because you only have one life. The average person is only going to work about 30 to 40 years. And so within that 30 to 40 years, how many companies are you going to work for? Who is going to offer you the most money? Who's going to support you with your retirement? Some companies don't even offer a match. Some companies don't offer a Roth or 401k whatsoever. And so these are the things that us millennials have now had to think about. You see, the business itself has said there is no business in taking care of an employee who no longer works for us, no matter how dedicated they were during their tenure, no matter how long they've been with us. Even the Army has opted in for only paying half of your essential pension after 20 years of service. And if you do 25 years, it is then increased. If you do 30 years, you get the full retirement. And so we went from 20 years, 100% retirement with the military, to now 30 years for 100% retirement with the military. So even the Army is saying, listen, I don't want someone at 18 who is going to live to 75 to be retired at 38 and be living off of us more than they've worked for us, And so that makes some sense, but it also tells us how valuable we aren't, how costly we are, and how devalued society has become, right? Soon enough, if people start to live to 100, the Army will now say you need to do 40 years in order to retire. That would still be 58 years old, which isn't horrible. But that's the mindset, right? That's the mindset shift. I now have to work for 40 years to receive 100% of what is owed to me. I would love to see the 58-year-old who can still do combat training effectively. But that's neither here nor there. And so when I look at the older generation and we have our conversations, they say things like, you should just stick it out. It almost seems as though something is wrong that we've opted into exploring our options and not limiting ourselves to what is right in front of us. I'm personally not too big on mental health, but I also understand that, you can be put in a place where mentally you're not okay, where mentally you are drained, where mentally you feel the stresses of the workplace, of society. And in some instances, you may need to get out of that in order to truly start to live your life to the fullest. And so, I also understand that there are work environments that are absolutely amazing, that you feel great. You want to show up to work. Everyone has a smile on their face and everything feels and is good. I've been there. I felt that. And, a lot of the times, time flies when you're having fun. Time absolutely flies when you're having fun. When you feel like going into work, when you feel like everything is working in your favor, time absolutely flies. You know, when I was in high school, when I was in college, high school flew by. College, not so much, right? I was working, I was in school, I was partying, I was doing sports. But all in all, it felt like a lot. It felt like a lot to keep up with when I was in college. When I got out, for that first year, time just flew by. COVID flew by. Even now, I'm sure it will just fly by. There was so much going on. So many things happening around me. I got a passport that I barely used for the better half of 2020 to 2022. Just started using it for real in 2023, 2024. And so I say all that to say, like, we are in a different time. And the next generation will be in a different time. You know, that we still need farmers. We still need people who are willing to do the hard work. But as a society, we are no longer sheltered and protected by the jobs that employ us. Loyalty is no longer rewarded with higher wages and higher raises. Employers are looking to line their own pockets, and those above us are looking to continue to keep their bonuses, as well as raise those bonuses by not raising the wages of the associates under them. Poor satisfaction, unsatisfied, not qualified enough, but yet qualified to keep their job, but yet qualified to do everything that is asked of them, but yet qualified to meet the standards that are put before them day in and day out. They spit in your face and they tell you to keep chugging along. Now, I'm not saying that every company is like that, because not every company is like that. You have companies that reward good behaviors, companies that reward a willingness to work hard and be the best, companies that reward those who truly do want to excel. You know, there is a sense in our society today where those who absolutely want to be the best and absolutely work harder than most, those are the ones that they don't want around. They'll tell you that they do. They'll tell you that they do. But when you absolutely work hard to be the best at everything that you do, there are those who become jealous and envious of that. This is just the truth. There are those who want that confidence to be lessened. You shouldn't be so confident. You shouldn't be so happy. And so society really encourages getting along rather than being the best. Whether that's good or bad, it definitely does not spur the highest yielding outcome, but it might spur the longest longevity. So I'm not saying one is better than the other, but I am saying that we have changed. Things have changed. Society has moved on. If you haven't experienced it yet, you will experience it within the workplace. You understand? It's a buddy-buddy system. It's an absolute buddy-buddy system. I've seen it day in and day out, and it's even more prevalent now than ever before. I really wanted to get this off my chest because I see it today, I saw it back then, and it will absolutely continue. I will be that old geezer who says, you should, I don't know, look for your greatest opportunity. If that means changing jobs every 3 to 5 years, then that might be what you have to do. But you know, times change, things change, and that might not be a formula for success 2-3 years from now or 20 years from now, when your children and your children's children enter the workforce. Things may change, things may evolve, businesses are going to adapt. And so as humans, we have to adapt as well. You understand? Expecting everything to be as it once was is not a recipe for success. It's absolutely not. And so all I'm saying is be adaptable, be flexible. Understand that you want things to work for you and not through you, right? When things work through you, that can be either good or either bad. Hopefully when it does work through you, it's for positive reasons and not for negative ones. So if you like this video, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. You know I post every single day at 8 a.m. daily on YouTube, on Rumble, and now on Spotify podcasts. Again, peace and blessings, and I will see you on the next one.